Hello, everybody. It's been a really long time since our last podcast, and a huge amount has happened.
It has. We are at Masurian Lakes, and we're going to show you this beautiful view that we are
Enjoying.
We are privileged. We are honored to be surrounded by.
And so very blessed.
Yeah, and we are able to walk barefoot on the grass, have house to ourselves. And it is beautiful. It's the beginning of our honeymoon after a very long journey. Yeah, that was eventful and also to some degree excited and tiring, right, baby?
Absolutely, yeah. When when we decided to do a European drive, I hadn't really taken into account just how much older I am now than when I've done lengthy journeys before. So the first journey that we embarked upon was Calais to Berlin. And in the sat-nav, it said 9.5 hours, and it took us about 3 hours longer than that to get there. And it was intense, and I had no idea that driving alone could make a body ache as much as mine ached when we got to Berlin.
Yeah, and yeah, even for me, mostly being a passenger, it was quite tiring, sitting in one place. But our destination was the most important thing. Was our target, and we achieved that target, and now we are enjoying the fruits of our labor. Right?
Yeah.
And not to forget, because that's how my memory works, so better do it now. Well, let's show you the view. So, as we said, we are at Masurian Lakes, and only 5 days ago? Not 5 days ago.
6 days ago.
6 days ago was our wedding, the most beautiful day of our lives. Right,
it really, really was. It was magical. As I've said many times now, and I'm worried I'm going to be boring my husband, but
no, you won't.
You hear people talk about a wedding being the best day of your life, and I just honestly believe that was something that people just said. But it actually happened to be true.
Yeah,
it was the most perfect day.
It was magical. It was like a dream, really. Now going back and watching all those footage from the wedding, it seems like it's been a dream. But at the same time, I remember pretty much every moment of that, and that is like kind of a little bit paradoxical.
Yeah, it's truly beautiful. We were really blessed as well because we had a band that played at our wedding, and they wrote a song for us. And I'd like to upload that actually at some point as well. So at some point in the not too distant future, that will be available for people to listen to on our channel as well. So watch out for that. And why has it been so long between our podcasts? Well, we've been planning a wedding, and Krzysiek has been doing really, really well with his Polish TikTok, and really built up quite a following, and has been sharing a lot of his wisdom with a lot of people that by all accounts really seem to need it, and they're really seeming to benefit from it. But the podcast is very dear to our hearts, and it's something that we want to get back into and start posting a lot more regularly. So that's something, once we get home, we're going to make sure that we are a bit more frequent. I think it must have been at least a year since our last one.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And also from the personal perspective, it is beautiful occasion, beautiful chance to have a conversation on a specific subject, and that comes to us in the time of recording, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. My hand is starting to hurt now from holding this camera.
We're sitting right on the edge of a jetty. So there was, even if we had a stand with us, there would have been nowhere to place it. So apologies for the wobbly screen, but hopefully you can stick with us. We've talked a little bit about what we wanted to discuss today. And I wanted to do something a little bit more airy-fairy, but Krzysiek's suggestion is quite a poignant one right now, and that is the importance of boundaries.
You wanted to talk about our journey so far and the healing that we've gone through, and respectively, right, on our journeys. And I feel that boundaries is a very big topic as well, and it is let's say reflection of being ready to come back to your personal power.
Absolutely. It's something that I'm still working on personally.
Me too, absolutely. And there are those moments when even in relationship like ours, so we just full of compassion and understanding and acceptance, the ego part of the mind, the inner child, sometimes feels unsafe, and even to speak up, to be able to say no to, because of the past experiences and the association with those experiences that are stored in subconscious mind. It is sometimes difficult to say no out of fear of being rejected or like being taken in the wrong way. And
for me personally, this is something that I've done a lot of introspection on, and I'm really quite
this is hurting my sorry baby,
no
start
worries.
again.
See, I've done an enormous amount of introspection to understand why I personally have a lot of difficulty with boundaries, and I think that this is definitely a very, very common one amongst the archetype of abused woman, and that is that during my childhood, having personal boundaries was literally dangerous. It wasn't safe. If I tried to advocate for myself, if I tried to speak my mind, that would often result in a beating, or silent treatment, or any other form of abuse. And it's interesting actually, because I'm in the process of writing my story at the moment, literally just started. It's something I've felt called to do for some time, and realizing throughout this process that there is a very strong belief that a former partner actually helped me understand, and that is that we are always responsible for at least 50, well, not at least, but exactly 50% of anything that happens in any of our interpersonal relationships. But I don't feel that that applies to the dynamic of mother and child or father and child. I feel that it's probably the only relationship we experience where that doesn't apply. As an innocent child brought into this world, we don't have the knowledge and the life experience to advocate for ourselves, and they are supposed to be tools that are taught to us from our parents. But when our parents are battling an enormous amount of unresolved trauma themselves, they don't have the skills to teach us, and quite often are actually the reason that we not only do not learn those skills, but are fearful of ever acquiring them. So for me personally, I need to ground myself very regularly in my actual safety. And I am safe now. For the first time in my life, I feel safe. I am safe. And it's time now for me to step into my power fully and stand up for myself. And I've been doing that a lot recently. I'm the mother of teenagers, so that in itself brings about a lot of opportunity to advocate for ourselves and instill and uphold our boundaries. And that has been a real challenge, but one that I believe I'm rising to quite well, actually. Certainly in recent months, more than ever before.
Hang on, can I? Oh, that's not gonna work.
Are you getting dizzy, guys? Would you like me to take it for a bit, baby?
Yeah, please do.
There we go. So I'm not sure how long we're going to be holding it in this angle, because this is resulting in my this is a result of me holding it up with my arm, my driving arm as well, which has been up against it in recent days. But
Yeah, as you were saying about this, the child not being responsible for the half of the dynamics, right? I would like to actually challenge this view, not from human point of view, from the level of human consciousness, but from the consciousness of universal love and the soul, because I know that we come here with certain predispositions and certain contracts as well, and also those things that happen to us when we are children, in some way they kind of pave our roads back to freedom, back to innocence and redemption. And very often those very strong souls that are here to be role models later on in life, they have to actually experience the most horrific things in order to then be able to actually
truly understand
it and teach that, or at least be an example of someone who can transmute even the hardest experiences.
That definitely resonates with me.
Therefore, so from soul's perspective, there is no injustice. There's no such thing like injustice, There is only that divine justice, which our human mind cannot grasp, because it operates just between the judgment of what is good and what is bad. And from the universal point of view, there is no such thing as duality, right? This is just a projection of our mind. So I just wanted to add that. And give me back that phone. I will hold it for a little bit.
I was quite comfortable.
Okay.
All right, you take over for a little bit.
Yeah, when I get tired, then
I must admit, I preferred the angle I was holding it at. It's definitely. No, you keep it. But I was just thinking, for a lady with double chins, the higher the better, right? Fat girl angles, right? So the importance of boundaries. Boundaries are something that
I'm just thinking that any minute I can drop this phone and we are just by the lake on a jetty, and there is water.
Don't drop it, baby.
So I'm just being mindful of my hand getting tired of holding it. Next time we'll probably bring something that we can actually pop the phone onto and just be hands-free. That will be desirable.
So if you travel in spiritual circles, you probably hear a lot of people talk about standing in your power. And I think, certainly for me, this was something I didn't truly understand. I used to meditate and try and feel this immense power direct from source and try to embody it. And I realized that I really had that arse about tit. And I think standing in your power is mostly actually just about understanding who you are and what your needs are, and being unashamedly, authentically you, and not allowing people to mistreat you, not allowing people to take too much, to allow yourself to give freely when you wish to do so, and when that feels right.
That is another learning curve.
Absolutely. And I am finding that is definitely something that I've been doing a lot more of recently. And I also feel that it's really impacting my external experience as well. The more I'm able to advocate for myself, the more power I feel that I have, and the sweeter my life turns out to be. So if you're not very good at naming your boundaries, that would be something I'm going to set you for homework. Do that. Somebody that takes the piss out of you a little bit, somebody that always takes a little bit more, somebody that's always got their hand out. Start saying no. and see what happens.
And also, there's very easy way to discern whether to say yes or to say no. When something feels light in your heart, or you feel like it is easy for you, not easy like, something is easy physically to be done, but it basically doesn't take away anything from you, and you feel that lightness in your heart, then absolutely that is your yes. And if something feels heavy and you feel like the sensation of dread, upon thinking that you have to do something for someone that you don't want to, then obviously that is your no. The question then is whether you love yourself enough to say no, or you continue that codependent relationship. Because what codependency is basically you feel threatened, you're in some way, whether that's physical, emotional, or mental, and you rather say yes to something you don't want to do just to keep peace of mind, or not to
literally
raise
putting
a
somebody
conflict.
else's needs ahead of your own to
Yeah.
keep you safe. So, another thing that I'd like to point out as well, which is
It's a
something that's
journey,
only
right?
occurred to me quite recently, and that is it's absolutely okay to say no simply because you don't want to.
Yeah.
And there is an enormous amount of power in that.
Exactly.
This is something I've been having with one of my children quite a bit, that's come up quite a bit recently, because he always wants an explanation. Can we do this? No. Why? Because I don't want to. It's as simple as that. And you don't owe anyone an explanation. Sometimes giving an explanation will actually ease your own path and it will make things easier, but that's entirely up to you whether or not you wish to do that. 100%.
Yeah. And even in those moments when he comes and he asks something, and then he kind of prods and keeps poking at you, to kind of like, yeah, maybe she will agree if I ask one more time.
Yeah.
Even I am not the one who's saying no, but I can feel that there is that tension, in the air, and I'm feeling kind of unsafe in that moment sometimes, because we have experience with him kicking off when he's been told no, and so it is like that question, are we gonna be having to deal with that shit again? But yeah, absolutely, it's like, yeah.
And also another point to mention,
for stepping up and
thank you,
and doing that, because I know it's not easy for you. Yeah.
Thank you. Another thing I'd like to point out here, and this is something that's come up with my son as well. Your boundaries, they're only boundaries if they impact you. If they come from you protecting your own energy, if they govern your own behavior, and they govern your own actions, and they govern your own thoughts, and they are there to keep you safe, to keep you healthy, to keep you in your power. They are no longer boundaries when they impose on another person's autonomy. That is no longer a boundary, that is control.
Yeah, absolutely.
You cannot tell someone they have to do something and call it a boundary. And that's something that has been a bit of a tough learning curve, certainly for one of my children. And it's also been quite beautiful for me to be able to articulate that. It was something that I knew intuitively and I knew instinctively, and actually being able to put words to it was really quite powerful. And also educational. And this is another thing, especially if you are dealing with boundaries with your children. It may in that moment feel unkind to them. It may feel as though you're not giving them what they deserve because you're their parent and you should be providing for your children. But what I would like to point out to you and highlight right now is that teaching your children healthy boundaries, how to name them and how to uphold them, is one of the greatest gifts you as a parent can bestow upon your children. It is something that will set them into prosperity and into their own natural power for the rest of their lives. And that's something that is really worth holding in your consciousness when you're in that uncomfortable position of having to advocate for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Because, you know, obviously it goes generations back, you know, this inability or immaturity, I would rather say, or to say no. Because this is like, it's not a negative, I'm not using the word immature in a negative way. I'm just calling the, you know,
The spade a spade.
the spade a spade. It's emotional immaturity, you know, that most of us humans experience, and not many of us actually mature emotionally. And I'm not claiming I am mature emotionally, but definitely I am more mature than I was a year ago, or definitely 5 years ago. And you know,
I actually believe that you have a huge amount of emotional maturity. Yeah, you have your triggers and you have those moments where your ego flexes, but generally speaking, you have an enormous amount of emotional maturity, and it's really quite an honor to witness. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for witnessing. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome, my darling.
Do you know, I have an idea. I'm not posing it. How about we try to sit here on this? Could you bring that bottle?
I could indeedy.
Hang on, not this. We need to sit this way, and we're gonna put the phone here.
What way was
We're
it?
gonna sit here.
Oh, what? So
On this. Yeah, so we're going to put the phone against this,
okay.
or the bottle, and we'll see if that